Navotas City to implement extreme enhanced community quarantine. Manila Police, no recommendation to extend the Tondo District 1 hard lockdown. Overseas Filipino workers in quarantine facilities suffered delays in claiming release clearance. President Rodrigo Duterte orders voluntary PhilHealth contribution for OFWs. COVID-19 not as deadly in Pakistan as in other countries, says one of its ministers. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe extends state of emergency until end of May.
Navotas City will be placed under extreme enhanced community quarantine 2 days from now. During that period, residents will have their schedules going to the market 6 days of the week, while only pharmacies will be allowed to open their doors on Sunday. Ray Palayo details why.
Navotas City continues to record new COVID-19 cases. Based on data from the city, as of May 3rd, it has 48 confirmed cases with 15 deaths. Mayor Toby Chanco explains that through contact tracing, they have found out that positive cases had previous activities in markets and grocery stores. For these reasons, the local officials also obliged to implement extreme enhanced community quarantine or EECQ in the entire city. Starting 5 a.m. on May 6 until May 15, residents with quarantine pass will have schedules in going to the market to buy their basic needs.
Isa po ang common na ginagawa ng mga taong nakikita natin na nagpa-positive. Sila po ay nanggagaling sa palengke o sa grocery.
Barangays whose residents are scheduled to go buy in markets on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are SRV, NBBS Kaunlaran, Bangkulasi, BBS, Navotas East, Sipak Almacen, Daang Hari, Tangos North, and Tanzawan, while residents in Barangay NBBS proper, NBBS Dagat-Dagatan, NBBN, BBN, Navotas West, San Jose, San Roque, Tangos South, and Tanza 2 have the chance to purchase their necessities during Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday within the EECQ period. Markets will be closed during Sundays to give way to disinfection. A total lockdown will also be implemented on Sundays, during which no residents will be allowed to go outdoors except in emergency cases. Only pharmacies will be allowed to open that day. Frontliners and individuals that bear an interagency task force ID are exempt from the EECQ policy. Ray Palayo, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Manila Police does not see the need to extend the hard lockdown the city government has imposed in the first district of Tondo, which began on Sunday. This is despite the hundreds of lockdown violators apprehended. Dante Amento tells us why.
Manila Police District Director, Police Brigadier General Rolando Miranda, says he will not recommend the extension of the 48-hour hard lockdown in the District 1 of Tondo, Manila City. The lockdown, which began on Sunday 5 a.m. and will end 5 a.m. tomorrow, was placed for authorities to conduct rapid testing in the highly populated area where there are more than 100 active COVID-19 cases as of today.
Kumpara mo sa populasyon ng District 1 ng Tondo na halos 1 milyon. So napakaliit na porsyento nun para i-extend ang lockdown at maging basihan yan para i-extend ang lockdown.
The MPD director believes majority of Tondo District 1 residents are cooperative with authorities.
Wala, makulit lang talaga. Oo. Di ba maraming istorya silang ginagawa.
Even Manila City Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso says he cannot afford to extend the hard lockdown in Tondo 1. All violators except minors are charged under Article 151 of the revised Penal Code or disobedience to person in authority. As of 5 p.m. today, authorities have apprehended 272 hard lockdown violators. As for the rapid testing, the Manila Health Department reports it has surpassed the 1,000 tests targeted. As of today, 1,409 rapid tests have been conducted in Tondo 1. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Even the PNP Special Action Force and the Reactionary Standby Support Force have been deployed to augment the enforcement of coronavirus measures in Tondo and across Metro Manila. Leah Ilagan reports why.
More than 250 PNP Special Action Force troopers were deployed in Tondo District 1 for the implementation of the 48-hour hard lockdown. NCRPO spokesperson Police Major Brits Estadilla says 2 multi-purpose armored vehicles are also there in the area. She adds the elite force of the PNP will strictly implement the hard lockdown protocols such as the strict stay-at-home order, wearing of face masks and proper social distancing.
Madami po yung population sa Tondo at hard lockdown nga po ang gusto ipatupad ni Mayor Isko. So, doon po ilalagay yung augmentation ng staff.
Meanwhile, 294 members of the Reactionary Standby Support Force or RSSF from Camp Crame have been turned over to the NCRPO. They will be deployed in the 5 districts in Metro Manila to man checkpoints at the Quarantine Control Points or QCP.
Kasi po, 48 days straight na po ang mga pulis natin ng NCRPO na na-duty. 12 hours duty, 12 hours off. Yung transportation pa po, ma'am. So, kailangan na po talaga nila magpahinga. Kaya po nag-request ng NCRPO ng augmentation from the Camp Crame and from South.
The NCRPO reiterates its appeal to the public to cooperate with the authorities for the government and the country as a whole to win the battle against COVID-19. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
More Senate personnel test positive for coronavirus as the Senate session resumed today. However, the test results still need to be confirmed through RT-PCR test. Arlene Delgado will tell us why.
15 Senate personnel have tested positive in rapid antibody test for COVID-19. This was after the Senate conducted over 500 rapid antibody tests as part of its protocol with the resumption of session today. Some of the personnel are members of the senator's staff and of the Office of the Sergeant at Arms. According to Senate President Vicente Soto III, the positive cases have been sent to the hospital to undergo swabbing for the RT-PCR test, the confirmatory test set by the country's Department of Health. They will be also isolated. All the 15 senators who attended physically for today's resumption of session also underwent rapid antibody tests. On the other hand, at least 7 of the senators participated in the session via teleconference. The senators also adopted today the amendment to the Senate rules allowing for the conduct of sessions and committee hearings via teleconferencing or video conferencing amid the COVID-19 crisis and other national emergency. The Senate also approved today on the third and final reading a bill which seeks to institutionalize the Alternative Learning System or ALS and establish an ALS Community Learning Center in every city and municipality in the country. The Senate also adopted today a resolution honoring the late former Senator Hierson Alvarez. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is prioritizing to pass measures relating to the country's fight against COVID-19. Majority of the lower house lawmakers attended today's session via teleconference. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
There is only a limited time for the House of Representatives to implement measures to fight the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in the Philippines. As such, the House leadership is prioritizing to pass measures including the Philippine Economic Recovery Act or PERA, the COVID-19 Unemployment Reduction Economic Stimulus or CARES Act of 2020, as well as other related measures. There is a proposed funding of around 700 billion pesos to kickstart the economy under the Philippine Economic Recovery Act. The bill seeks to aid businesses so as to make sure that workers will not lose their jobs. Office testing for COVID-19 will also be under the law to remove fear caused by COVID-19. 25 billion pesos will be allotted to procure test kits to make sure area-based testing and office testing will be done. Meanwhile, the Cures Act of 2020 will seek to fund the nationwide job creation program, particularly on the infrastructure sector. The lawmakers are also eyeing to extend the availability of the 2020 General Appropriations Act or the 2020 National Budget, as well as other measures relating to COVID-19. As the new normal for the House of Representatives, teleconferencing was done during the resumption of the session today. 25 congressmen were on the plenary floor to attend the session, while 276 lawmakers attended via teleconferencing. The same was implemented during the March 23 special session as the House passed the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. A motion was also made and approved to authorize various House committee to conduct their committee hearing online, subject to the laws implemented by the committee. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Thousands of residents in Quezon City avail of cash assistance under Social Amelioration Program, but some of them fail to observe social distancing protocols. Meanwhile, Quezon City government implements a 24-hour total lockdown in Barangay Silangan. Asher Cadapan Jr. will tell us the reasons why.
5,840 residents of Barangay Batasan Hills, Quezon City are on the list of individuals qualified to avail today the cash assistance under the government's Social Amelioration Program. Thousands, including senior citizens and persons with disabilities, lined up on the Batasan Road up to President Corazon C. Aquino Elementary School, where the cash aid was being disbursed by the local government unit.
Yung kasing nagiging issue dito is yung verification ng status ng mga families. Medyo tumatagal ng konti sa SSDD side, sa DSW side. Dahil yung proseso ba ng pagka-question kung talagang qualified sila o hindi.
Due to the high number of beneficiaries, social distancing at times was not observed by the residents despite the presence of authorities. The LGU, however, assured everyone on the list will receive their part in the government assistance.
Uubusin namin yan kahit hanggang gabi. Yun ang instruction sa amin. Ubusin yung tao hanggang gabi. Kung pwedeng 24/7 nandito kami, yun ang instruction ni Mayor.
But the SAP beneficiaries encountered yet another long queue upon availing the cash aid in Quezon City Hall. The tail of the queue even reached Matalino Street, traversing East Avenue and Elliptical Road. Elsewhere, Barangay Bagong Silang, Quezon City has been subjected to a 24-hour total lockdown starting today. This is to slow down the transmission of the deadly coronavirus disease, as Barangay Silangan has so far recorded 7 COVID-19 positive cases.
Kasi pag ikot namin, okay siya, malinis. Kaya lang, pag alabas namin, andyan na naman sila. So masakit ang ulo namin dahil sa kasasaway.
Volunteers along with Philippine Army personnel provided relief goods to residents while the total lockdown is being implemented.
We have here 20 trucks, all in all, so 120 Philippine Army personnel. This is a one-day relief operation for more than 7,000 families here in Barangay Bagong Silangan.
Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
After former Senator Jinggoy Estrada's arrest in San Juan City yesterday for violating the enhanced community quarantine protocols, Malacanang reminds everyone to coordinate first with local government units before conducting any relief operations. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque also reiterates President Rodrigo Duterte's plea to everyone to set aside politics amid the coronavirus pandemic in the country.
Nakikiusap po kami doon sa nais magkawang gawa, makipag-coordinate po tayo sa LGUs dahil doon sa pagbibigay po ng ayuda sa ating mga kababayan, kinakailangan naman po magkaroon ng safeguards na hindi po magkumpul-kumpulan at magdagsain kayo ng mga taong bayan. No? Kinakailangan magkaroon ng mga hakbang para masigurado ang social distancing habang namimigay ng ayuda.
And now let's take a peek at the tally of the coronavirus cases around the globe. The COVID-19 pandemic has now reached a total of 3,522,593 confirmed cases in 187 countries, regions, and sovereignty. The fast-spreading disease has claimed 247,744 lives based on reports, while over 1,130,000 patients across the world have recovered. The United States of America, as of today, has 1,158,341 positive cases of the deadly disease, with New York still the epicenter of the outbreak. Italy has the highest death toll, which has reached 28,884. Italy and Spain remains to have more than 200,000 cases as of today. On the other hand, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Russia, Turkey, and Brazil remain to have over 100,000 cases. Iran now has 97,424 red cases, but with 78,422 green cases or recoveries. China has almost 84,000 confirmed cases reported, while Canada, which is also on the top 12 worst hit countries, has recorded 60,504 confirmed cases with 3,795 COVID-19 related deaths. Meanwhile, the Philippines Department of Health, or DOH, reported at 4 p.m. today 262 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total in the country to 9,485. The country mourns the death of 16 more patients as the country's death toll stands at 623. On the other hand, our gallant medical frontliners have helped 101 more patients recover, bringing the total recoveries in the country to 1,350. The Philippine government's Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, or has temporarily suspended all inbound international passenger flights. Meanwhile, OFWs in quarantine facilities are experiencing delays in claiming their release clearance required before returning to their families. Joan Nano tells us why.
Beginning yesterday, 8 o'clock a.m., all international inbound passenger flights are suspended until the next weekend. The one-week flight suspension aims to allow for the government to decongest various COVID-19 quarantine facilities where thousands of repatriated OFWs are being quarantined. In an interview with OWA Administrator Hans Leo Kakdak in the program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon today, he explained that OFWs have completed a 14-day mandatory quarantine are experiencing delays before getting clearance for release. This is because under the new guidelines, all OFWs who graduated from the 14-day quarantine period are required to undergo swab testing to ascertain they are COVID-19 free before being allowed to go back home.
Mula noong April 25, kailangan po lahat ngayon isalang sa swab testing. So this will also take a bit of time kasi unang-una, isa-isa po pinupuntahan sa kanilang quarantine facilities yung mga tao. And pangalawa, merong 2 to 3 to 4 day waiting period to await the results. So medyo may kaunti pa kung paghihintay yung mga nag-graduate ng 14 days ngayon.
The OWA administrator adds they have just started the massive swab testing on the quarantined OFWs last week as a bulk of COVID-19 testing kits arrived in the last week of April.
Yan talaga lang sinasagawa at that's one reason kaya may backlog. So this is a backlog na hindi dahil hindi gumalaw ang pamahalaan, kundi yung talagang sadya lamang na yung mass test kits ay nagdatingan nitong linggo ng Abril.
Thousands of repatriated OFWs are currently billeted in COVID-19 quarantine facilities identified by the government. In Metro Manila alone, almost 20,000 OFWs are being housed in quarantine facilities. And to avoid further transmission and possible second wave of COVID-19 infection, the government is working on decongesting quarantine facilities. The resumption of OFW repatriation is scheduled on May 9 when the suspension of inbound commercial flights ends. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The suspension of collection of overseas Filipino workers' PhilHealth contribution is possible only when the law is amended, according to the state's health insurance agency spokesperson. Aiko Miguel details why.
Unless the law is amended, the collection of the PhilHealth premium contribution of OFWs can't be suspended or deferred. This is one of the things clarified and emphasized by the spokesperson of PhilHealth in the program Serbisyong Bayanihan this morning. According to Dr. Shirley Domingo, all collections of premium contributors are on hold as of the moment until May 31 because of the coronavirus disease crisis. But starting June, the collection of contributions will resume, and so will the 0.5% additional rate this year.
Kung may balance man, they can pay it within 1 year pa.
It is also stated in Republic Act 11223 or the Universal Healthcare Act that the total 3% rate this year is not just for OFWs but for all members of the state's health insurance agency.
Dati po, noong 2016, nakakabit po yun because there was what they call the one-stop shop doon sa OWA. But after na nawala ang one-stop shop yon, hindi na nakakapit ang premium payments to OEC.
The PhilHealth spokesperson also explained that the contributions of members who are able to pay will fill for those who have nothing to pay for their share because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The national government will pay for the indigent or those who are not capable of paying contributions for insurances under the country's universal healthcare law. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang clarifies the issue on PhilHealth premium increase of 3%. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
After an online petition of hundreds of thousands of overseas Filipino workers, President Rodrigo Duterte has directed the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation or PhilHealth to make the contributions for overseas Filipino workers voluntary.
Na nag-issue ang direktiba ang ating presidente sa PhilHealth para gawing voluntaryo po ang pagbabayad ng mga OFWs ng PhilHealth premiums.
Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque adds that under the Universal Healthcare Act that he pushed during his stint as a lawmaker in the 17th Congress, the system of mandatory contribution for OFWs was not included, and PhilHealth crafted it through the implementing rules and regulations of the law.
Wala po sa batas na nagsasabi na dapat patawan ng mga OFWs ng karagdagang premium sa pamamaraan na nais pong ipatupad ng PhilHealth. Yan po ay nasa implementing rules and regulation.
The presidential spokesperson also clarifies that the premium increase is not 3% but only 0.5%. Secretary Roque further adds Overseas Workers Welfare Administration and the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration will not require the payment of PhilHealth premiums for the issuance of Overseas Employment Certificate or OEC. According to the palace official, amidst the COVID-19 crisis, the president wants to ensure there's no additional burden for OFWs. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang says the Philippine offshore gaming operators are part of the business process outsourcing industry, and there is no favoritism in allowing their partial operation. Rosalie Cos explains why.
Malacanang denies allegations that favoritism is behind the government's permission of partial resumption of the operation of some Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGO, despite the community quarantine implemented due to the COVID-19 threat. According to Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, the IATF against COVID-19 has allowed the partial operation of the Business Process Outsourcing or BPO, which includes the POGO industry. He also says that not all POGOs are allowed to operate, but only those which will be permitted by the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the Philippine Amusement Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR. In particular, POGOs which do not have any liabilities with the country's regulations, including the payment of appropriate tax.
Wala pong favoritism dyan. On the contrary, the Equal Protection Clause po provides that all those similarly situated must be treated alike. So dahil isang klaseng BPO ang POGO, kinakailangan mapabuksan din sila, be it ECQ or GCQ.
However, the IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines rejects this. The group says POGOs are not part of BPO, and one basis is that BPO companies are regulated by the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. POGOs, on the other hand, are controlled by PAGCOR. Meanwhile, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa supports the Duterte administration's move to allow the partial operation of POGOs. He says the government believes it is an essential industry in which the government can get additional funds to address the COVID-19 crisis. Rosa Licoz, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
President Rodrigo Duterte approves the recommendation of the Interagency Task Force against coronavirus disease to place again Albay Province and Zamboanga City under enhanced community quarantine. In total, 11 areas in the country are now under ECQ until May 15, 2020, including Metro Manila, Central Luzon, except Aurora, Calabarzon, provinces of Pangasinan, Benguet, Iloilo, Cebu, Bacolod City, and Davao City, while the rest of the country are under general community quarantine. Malacanang lets the National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC, decide on the request to grant provisional permit to ABSCBN. Solicitor General Jose Calida has earlier warned the NTC that its commissioners may face graft charges if it will grant provisional permit to the giant media network despite a pending franchise renewal. ABS-CBN's legislative franchise expires today.
Itong bagay pong ito is a matter that must be dealt with by the NTC as a quasi-judicial body at aantayin po natin ang sagot ng National Telecoms Commission at pang presidente naman po ipatutupad po kung ano magiging desisyon ng National Telecommunications Commission.
Authorities arrested a driver of a local radio and television network at the corner of Katipunan and Aurora Avenues in Quezon City today. The police personnel who accosted Baron Giovanni Belison recount while they were manning a checkpoint in the area, they saw Belison's marked vehicle entered a wrong lane. The police officers explained the driver did not show good manners, so he was apprehended. When the cops talked to him, Belison responded not in a good way, and it seemed that Belison placed something inside his mouth and swallowed it. Belison was then told to get off the vehicle to be frisked. Upon frisking, the cops found 1 gram of suspected shabu. Belison was brought to the police precinct. The suspect refused to give any comments. The Department of Foreign Affairs Consular Office in Tacloban has been assisting foreign nationals in Eastern Visayas who have been stranded in the region due to the travel restrictions imposed through the Enhanced Community Quarantine, or ECQ, in Luzon and in some parts of the country. In a tweet, the DFA says its consular office in Tacloban, together with the regional office of the Department of Tourism, or DOT, assisted a total of 92 nationals on 2 domestic sweeper flights from Tacloban to Manila, mounted by the British and Australian Embassy in the Philippines on the 28th of April 2020. Elsewhere, the consular office in Zamboanga helped facilitate the repatriation flight for 13 stranded foreigners from different countries at the Edwin and Andrews Air Base on 29th of April 2020. Members of the Philippine Coast Guard's Task Group LaVon COVID-19 Water Cluster conducted medical screening on 12 crew members of a fishing bangka before their departure for a fishing venture in Palawan at the Navotas Fishport complex earlier today. The bangka crews were advised to maintain social distance, regularly wash their hands, and always wear face masks to protect themselves from the contagious virus during their fishing ventures. Elsewhere in Pasig City, other members of the task group LaVon COVID-19 Water Cluster paid a courtesy visit to Pasig City Mayor Rico Soto today. The task group informed Mayor Soto about their daily operations to ensure the health and safety of local fisher folks in their fishing ventures amid the ECQ all over Metro Manila. Mayor Soto thanked the task group for assisting the city government in its programs and initiatives for the good of Pasig City.
Coronavirus cases in Russia rise by daily amount as mortality rate slows. Bianca Quijano reports why.
Russia on Sunday recorded its highest daily rise in confirmed coronavirus cases, with more than 10,600 new cases, bringing the total to 134,687, with more than half of cases and deaths in the capital, Moscow. But the mortality rate has slowed in recent days and remains much lower in relative terms than many other countries based on data. Death toll is now more than 1,200 nationwide after 58 people died from the disease caused by the killer virus in the last 24 hours. Russia has said its lower mortality rate was because the Russian outbreak occurred later than in many other countries, which gave the authorities more time to prepare. Vladimir Putin's administration has placed a partial lockdown since the end of March to curb the spread of the virus. People in Moscow can leave home to visit the nearest food shop, walk their dog, or throw out rubbish, but need special passes for other activities. Putin has ordered the nationwide lockdown to remain in place until May 11th, inclusive when Russia finishes celebrating its Labor Day and World War II Victory Day holidays. Bianca Quijano, UNTV, News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
A minister in Pakistan says COVID-19 is not as deadly as in other countries for now, despite serious economic impact. Sheila Reyes will tell us why.
Pakistan's Minister for Planning and Development Asad Umar on Sunday said the coronavirus had not been as lethal in Pakistan as it has been in other countries, especially in the West. Umar compared Pakistan's death rates to the fatality rates of other countries. He said the coronavirus has caused 58% more deaths in the United States, 207% more in Spain, and 124% more in the United Kingdom as compared to Pakistan in the same period. However, he added that although the virus had not been as deadly in Pakistan, its financial and economic impact has been serious. Umar said research by a renowned university had revealed that the cost imposed by economic and social distancing may be large in terms of immediate deprivation and hunger, adding that Pakistan's citizens were also complaining that their livelihoods were affected by the lockdown. Many residents of Lahore agreed. Pakistan's coronavirus tally as of today has risen to 20,084 after 989 new patients were diagnosed in the last 24 hours. Death toll stands at 457, while 5,114 patients have recovered from the deadly disease. Sheila Reyes, UNTV, News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
Various countries and territories have eased their coronavirus measures, such as South Korea, Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, and New York City in the USA, among other states and cities. Meanwhile, Canada ventures into a research on a potential antibody while also funding tools to support Canadians' mental health through technology. Miguel Rey de la Rion has the details why.
Malls, dine-in restaurants and cafes in Dubai, the UAE's business and tourism hub, resumed operations last week with limited capacity. Despite the relaxed restrictions on malls and restaurants in Dubai, shoppers remain reluctant to return. The UAE has so far reported 14,163 confirmed coronavirus cases without a breakdown among its emirates. The UAE had relaxed a nationwide curfew first announced on March 26th. In South Korea, residents stride back to malls after spending weeks cooped up at home. The term bobok-sabi or revenge shopping has trended on the nation's social media as people rush to make purchases delayed by social distancing rules. The spree is boosting the economy after the pandemic knocked 40% off department store sales in March from a year earlier, but economists caution the bounce will likely be short-lived. In New York, NYC was a contrast of cautious joy and solemn reverence on Sunday as residents flocked to parks in one part of the city while law enforcement and emergency vehicles in another part held a procession honoring a paramedic who came to New York to help battle coronavirus and later died of it. In New York City, the warmest weather yet this spring caused picnickers and sunbathers to flock the green spaces in Manhattan. Police and other law enforcement officials help patrol parks to encourage social distancing. As Canada's daily coronavirus death toll edged up by under 5% on Sunday in another sign the outbreak has peaked, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau promised additional funding for mental health care services and coronavirus research, saying he understood the stress caused by the shutdown of businesses across the country and orders to stay inside. The Canadian Prime Minister also announced Ottawa would spend 240 million Canadian dollars to help develop virtual mental health tools to deliver support digitally.
By helping doctors run appointments online, you can stay safe at home while getting care, and our hospitals can stay focused on those who need it most. If we can use apps to order dinner and video chats to stay in touch with family, we can use new technology to keep each other healthy.
Canada's Public Health Agency data shows that the total number of people killed by the coronavirus rose by 4.6% to 3,606 on Sunday. Miguel Rey de Leon, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, Germany and France reopened 2 of the 11 currently closed border crossings on Monday while upholding random checks to try to reduce the spread of the new coronavirus. The easing came after the state interior minister of Germany's Baden-Württemberg region, Thomas Strobel, held intensive discussions with our French friends. After doctors in the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in the eastern French cities of Mulhouse and Colmar warned in March that the health system was at breaking point, Germany closed its borders to France. On Monday, the small crossing on the Rhine River between the towns of Wintersberg in Germany and Bienheim in France's Alsace region saw mostly commuters, some of whom wore face masks. German Chancellor Angela Merkel recently warned that easing the restrictions too soon could lead to a resurgence of cases and force a reintroduction of measures that would damage the economy. Meanwhile, here in Japan, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said today he has decided to extend the country's national state of emergency to the end of the month. PM Abe will consider lifting the nationwide state of emergency without waiting for its May 31st expiration if expert advisors decide if it is possible based on detailed analysis of regional infection trends. These were his statements at a meeting of the government's coronavirus task force today. He said his advisors explained that Japan had not seen the explosive surge in infections experienced in some countries overseas. For the 13 prefectures, including Tokyo and Osaka, that have been hardest hit, a target of reducing person-to-person contact by 80% would remain in place, Abe said. Japan will move gradually to a framework that will combine prevention of the spread of infections with maintaining social and economic activities, he added. Worry Worried that their spotted garden eels may soon forget humans, an aquarium in Tokyo decided to intervene. Nina Armilio tells us why.
The Sumida Aquarium in Tokyo urges the public to video call their collection of around 300 spotted garden eels to help the animals stay interactive. The aquarium says the eels have become more evasive recently, burrowing themselves in the sand to hide when staff approach their tank. The facility was closed to visitors on March 1 due to the coronavirus outbreak. Since then, the eels have avoided people around them. The aquarium says they are hoping the 3-day face show festival from Sunday to Tuesday could help the naturally vigilant creatures get familiar with humans again, so the staff can easily check on their well-being. During a rehearsal held days before the real event, the eels seemed very cautious, while staff and their family members greeted them via video link on the tablets attached in front of the tanks. The aquarium said that a few hours into the event on Sunday, the eels seemed to have started lowering their guard a bit. However, the aquarium staff say it is still too early to tell how effective the effort will be. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Akasang Bahay, we are at a time when the country is under a state of health emergency. The cooperation of all Filipinos is imperative to avoid the deadly virus. We are calling on everyone to be calm.
And most importantly, let us join together in prayer for our country and for the whole world to survive this crisis. You may join us in our daily UNTV community prayer at these hours as flashed on your screens. Those are the reasons behind the news. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.